Hey y'all, welcome back to the Late Night Vision Show. This is episode number 261. My name is Jason Robertson. I am the owner of Outdoor Legacy, specializing in all kinds of night vision and thermal optic sales. As always, I've got my co-host, Mr. Hans East Texas, from the Hans East Texas YouTube show. What is going on tonight, Hans?
Well, it's always fun to do a review. And kind of the word that we use way too often is exciting. And we're not going to use that. But this is, so y'all are probably confused. We put out a special feature, a special episode yesterday. And that was on a Wednesday preceding this, but it was basically a reveal of a company that everybody, I think, is familiar with that has jumped into the thermal market, and we are going to be reviewing that optic today. It's the Sightmark Wraith Thermal, and I think the proper model is, they call it the Sightmark Wraith Thermal 2-16 35 millimeters. That if you look on the spec sheet, that's what it says. But we are reviewing that today. We basically introduced it yesterday. Y'all, we've got so much video we're going to show. I think it's going to be more video through this scope than you'll probably see anywhere else. My boss, Jason, had me sitting up in a tree just about every night trying to get video of hogs. And I've got hogs. So, I had to go out there and sit in the tree for 2 hours. I couldn't get down because it'd spook them. It was a mess. I was about to pee in my pants. There was a lot of things going on, but anything to make my co-host and boss happy.
That's
it's
right.
Review time. It's review time of year, and just trying to, get those extra brownie points.
That's right. That's right. He's trying to wants to take off for a vacation, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Guys, this thing is exciting. I'm holding it right here in my hand. We're going to see more of it here in just a little bit. Hans is going to do all the specs. I'm going to do a walk around, show you what's in the box, talk about the unit a little bit, and then we'll do our full field review. We're going to tell you what you can expect from it. We're going to tell you what we like about it, what we don't like about it, what we would change about it if we could. We're going to tell you who it's good for. This is going to be a long review. If you're new to our channel, you may be looking at this and you go, oh my gosh, these guys have been talking 5 minutes and nothing's happening yet. We're fixing to get to it. It is probably going to be a 40, 45 minute review. If you're looking for something quick, something short, that just reads the specs on the box and doesn't tell you anything else, that's not what this show is about. So if you're looking for the full in-depth review, this is it. Quickly, I want to say, yes, Sightmark. For those of you who probably, a lot of people do know, Sightmark is one of the largest and the leading company in digital night vision optics here in the U.S. And this Sightmark, they are a Texas-based company. They are the company that owns them is Cellmark. That is also the U.S. distributor for Pulsar. So it's a great company. We work really closely with them, and we're very thankful to be in on this announcement, this breaking news yesterday, the reveal, as Hans called it. I tell you what, this is one of the few scopes that I can think of that Hans and I actually were able to see in its infancy. And I mean like a cobbled together prototype. I remember from
drawings to early prototype to demo.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Almost a year ago. Well, it was almost a year ago.
It was
within
September.
A few months. You were using a very early prototype of this thing and out there playing with it. And so it's really been fun to kind of watch this as, Sightmark spent a very long time hammering this out, trying to create the optic that they wanted to be their first little foray into the thermal world. So again, exciting times. Hans and I and Ashley here at Outdoor Legacy, we've had these units for a pretty long time, to be honest. We've been using them. I've got a lot of hours, all three of us, behind them. And so this review, I know sometimes people say, well, wait a minute, it just came out yesterday. You couldn't have really reviewed it. Well, thankfully, it's one of the perks of this job is that not all the time, but a lot of the times we get some early access to stuff. So we've been using this for a while. And I know some of you guys are like, why didn't you tell me about it? We have legal and binding non-disclosure agreements because we don't want to go to jail, and we really like our company. So we can't say everything we always know. But anyway, great optic. Hans is going to jump into the specs. After that, again, we'll jump into the walk around and start reviewing this bad boy.
So before we go to the specs real quick, I know you probably already mentioned it, but I'm going to say, if you are interested in buying a night vision or thermal optic, or this brand new Sightmark Wraith Thermal that we're about to talk about, Jason, you said before the show you think that these things are either going to be in stock when these listeners hear this, or close to, right?
They are in stock. I'm going to say that they should be, unless FedEx or UPS drops the ball. We're recording this a couple days early, and I have a tracking number that says they will be delivered before Thursday. So, I mean, they should be. Our warehouse is 30 minutes from Sightmark. So they are en route as we speak. These should be sitting on the shelf when you're watching this, unless we've sold out. And if we've sold out, give us a call, and we can get you a back order in. But we got a pretty good many of these things coming.
Yeah. So outdoorlegacygear.com, 877-350-1818. You can call and talk to me, Jason, Ashley. We've all used it in outfield and we tested it. So we'd love to hear from you, and we'd love for you to purchase your next optic through us. So the specs, let's run through this. We're going to be showing a ton of video, way more video than we showed on the previous episode talking about or introducing the Wraith Thermal. But and then afterwards, Jason is going to do a quick walk around of the optic. We're going to talk about our likes and dislikes. Man, we dove down in this thing. We studied on this thing. We really, I think, came up with a really good list. So, all right, the price, one of the most important things people want to know. This brand new Sightmark Wraith Thermal 2-16 35 millimeters, breaking into the market with a price point of $1,999.97. So right at $2,000. It's a 384 by 288 thermal core resolution. It has an OLED display with a 1024 by 768 resolution on the display. That's display resolution, not to be confused with thermal core resolution. It has a 40 millikelvin NETD thermal sensor. It's a 17 micron. Starts at 2 power and goes to 16 power. I found that interesting because that's usually in that price range, you're not getting 8x. You're usually only getting 4x, but that's pretty nice. It's a 2 power to 16 power. It's got a 1,400 yard detection range. The ID range on it, Jason and I discussed and we like to do it talking about small animals like coyotes. Obviously, bigger animals like hogs or deer might be a little bit further, but I would say comfortably 200 to 250 yards on a coyote. Telling you the difference between a coyote and a small deer. You agree with that, Jason?
Yeah, I do. I think 200 is very safe, very reasonable. I think 225 is got a little bit of experience. I think you're going to be able to do that. I think 250 on a coyote versus deer. I think that's going to be your kind of top end. I think you're going to be pushing it there. I wouldn't want to say further than that, but yeah, 200, 250, somewhere in there is very reasonable.
So the field of view at 100 yards, it's a whopping 68 feet. It's a wide field of view at 100 yards, 68 feet. So it's got video and audio recording. A lot of people are going to ask. This is the video and audio is recorded to an SD card that is removable. Now that is a card that is not provided with the scope. So you just got to run down to Walmart or any other store. You can find them anywhere, but just get you. It's a mini SD card. And that's what the videos are going to record to. So, I really like that feature. It runs on 2 CR123 batteries. So those are removable throwaway batteries. Yes, you can use rechargeable CR123 batteries, but you're not going to get as good a runtime as the lithium. So the testing that we did, I'm going to tell you, and we can explain this further, Jason, it was kind of across the board. Right. So with a good set of Panasonic lithium batteries, on the bench, continuous runtime, we got almost 5 hours of runtime. Now, on the spec sheet, you're going to see it's going to say 3.5 hours of runtime. We also had another test going, out in the field test, and we didn't get near that amount of time. So what I would say,
with way different batteries,
way different.
Yeah,
so what I would say is, depending on the battery brand, the type, you're going to get anywhere from 2 to 5 hours, and that's a big swing when you're talking about battery life. But try, and like we always do, try to use good premium lithium batteries. A lot of people talk about buying batteries on Amazon. I'm going to tell you, man, I've had some bad luck lately from getting batteries that were not very good or did not last long through Amazon.
Even name brands, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they're I would just say this real quick, since I did do that test. Panasonic's, I got almost 5 hours, and I mean that's a legit runtime. Again, just a bench test sitting there indoors, but the reason we're being kind of weird on this is we run into this, especially with these CR123A batteries, because it's not something we can't control what batteries you use. So we say, hey, we got this runtime. A guy calls and goes, man, I got way longer than that. Well, you might have found some amazing battery, or I got way less than that. Well, I can't, I don't know what kind of batteries you're using. And we've also found that Hans is talking about these batteries. I know for a fact I've done so many. I'll just tell you this. I buy CR123A batteries 100 at a time. I supply Hans with them, Ashley with them, myself. My kids have done some science fair testing with these batteries. And what I can tell you for a fact is that you can take a box of 12 batteries, a name brand, Energizer, Panasonic, or Duracell, or whatever, or some cheap brand, and you can actually have one in there that's no good, and you can have one or two that don't last as long. I mean, I have seen it. We have done some extensive testing on that. So anyway, I was very impressed with the runtime that I got on those good batteries. So I would say Energizer, Panasonic's. I think you're going to be pretty happy with the runtime in, again, normal temperatures. It is spring in Texas, so obviously we weren't out there running these things in, negative temperatures.
Right, exactly. So, again, battery setup, 2 CR123 batteries. The operating temperature, it's a -4 degrees Celsius to 122 degrees.
Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Yeah, it's always get that wrong because they put it in there as Celsius. No, that's Fahrenheit. -4 degrees Fahrenheit to 122 degrees.
So Fahrenheit. The -4 is Fahrenheit, though.
It is Fahrenheit, yeah.
Okay, all right.
5 color palettes, 10 reticles, and you got 9 different color options with the reticles. 5 different weapon profiles. It weighs 21 ounces. That's with the mount and with batteries in it, so 21 ounce weight. And it does come with a Sightmark 3-year warranty. I don't think I forgot anything else. What do you think?
I don't think you did.
Yep.
I'm just looking down here. No, I don't think so. So I'm going to do the quick walk around. I'm going to show you what's in the box. Let's get this ball rolling. All right. Here is the box. I assume this is what they're going to come in. This is what ours came in. I don't know. I was told there might be some changes with the box. This is going to be the quickest what's in the box because it's very easy. It's very simple. There are 2 CR123A batteries that come in the box. I'm not going to show those. Then we've got a simple little warranty registration card if you want to register it. You've also got a little lens cleaner, and you have got a USB battery connector. You can run this scope off of an external USB battery pack. One thing that a lot of people don't know when they first see this is a magnetic connector. So I don't know if y'all can see. I'm going to try to show this. That's where the little USB-C, it plugs into the scope, and it is magnetic. That is very cool. We really suggest using these if you're running an external battery pack. That way, if you snag this on something, it just, this just comes right off. And anyway, so that is included with it. All right. And I'm going to show, there's one more thing. I'm going to show the unit. All right. Let me get this box off the desk. Okay. So this is the unit itself. As I am holding it, it has on the rubber eye cup. It does not come standard this way, but this rubber eye cup is in the box. The way that it comes is it has these little plastic screw-on lens caps on both the front and the back. we will talk a little bit more about these in a little bit. And I will talk about what I like and what I don't like. But I'm going to just take this off, and I'm going to put this rubber eye cup back on there so you can see how quick and easy that was. All right. Looking at the unit from the top, what you will see right here, obviously this is the eyepiece. This is the diopter focus. That is your eyepiece focus. So you focus the screen to your eye because you're looking at that screen in there, and you know what may be focused for you may not be for me because you know one of us may wear glasses or need to wear glasses. And then right up here on the top, I love this. This is going to be your controls. Very simple. Up, down, left, right, center, select. This is one of the easiest type controls I believe there is, just like a TV remote control. Very intuitive. We're all very familiar with that. We're going to talk about a little bit more the simplicity of this unit, but I think that's where it starts in the controls. You can't see it well right here. I'm going to push this button here. I'll move to this side. This is going to be where the batteries go in. Okay, so you're going to put that, and again, you can't see it well in this video, I know, but there's just a little button right there that releases that. Looking from, this thing is so black, I don't know if y'all can see this well on here, but right here on the front, this is a pretty cool little thing that Sightmark is adding on there, and that is a throw lever. So this way, if you want to make fine adjustments to your focus, you can just reach your finger up there. And I mean, it's really easy. It gives you leverage so you can make little, again, fine adjustments. I do want to point out that when you get this, what you need to do when you go to mount it, you need to just check and see if you focus it that this lever's in the right spot. We did have one of our early units that this focus, this throw lever was in the wrong spot. So what that meant was it was actually focused. Gosh, you cannot see this. It's so black. It was focused down here on the bottom. Well, then when you went to go mount it on your rifle, that throw lever was hitting the rail. So if that happens, this is not super easy, but you need to pry this thing off, forward, and then move it up to the top. That's it. Just something to be aware of. We only had it on one unit. Again, this isn't, so it is obviously a focusable, unit. Then right here, that is the front lens cap that is flip open, as mentioned. All right, this side right over here. No, you're not going to see well, but there's some rubber covers right here. This, you just pull this open, and that lets you get into your USB power port right there. And then you've got a larger port, and I'm going to, little cover, open that up. And you can, gosh, it's hard to see. Now you can see right there, that is your micro SD card. These things are tiny. Micro SD card. Guys always want to know, what brand do I use? It doesn't matter. I mean, there's several name brands of these. SanDisk and Kingston, and I don't know. It doesn't matter. Whatever name brand. I know you're probably also going to ask what size SD card it can use. What's the maximum? I do not have an answer to that because our units did not come with any manuals. So we have to figure everything out the hard way. And so the units that we received early on didn't have manuals. So I don't know how big, but I can tell you what this one is. Let's just look and see. This is oh gosh, that's only a 64. I know it'll use bigger than that. I know you can use, I think it's a 256 gig, but I don't know. I don't want to go say for sure. All right. Yeah, I just don't know.
I usually put 32, but I guess you can go to 64. But
oh, you can use. I got a 128 gig in my Wraith Mini, so I'm sure it'll take at least that. You don't need one that big. I mean, that's just whatever. In case you want one that big. All right, so here, let's keep moving along. I want to show you this. This is the mount. This is not the stock mount. I'm gonna have Hans. Do you have yours where you can show the stock mount?
Sure do. Right,
show it real quick. I need a drink. Anyway.
So yeah, it's basically just a thumb screw. You're just gonna tighten that down on your rail. It's one thumb screw. A very basic mount, small in size, fits on a Picatinny rail. So just a thumb screw mount.
So that mount is not quick detach. It is not return to zero. So you mount that, you just need to plan on that's where it's going to be. If you want to take it off, it comes off very quickly, but it does not return to zero. If you put it back on, I would expect that you're going to need to go re-zero. So just so you know that. Now, if you're looking for a high-end quick detach mount, return to zero, American made, lifetime warranty, as always, our friends at American Defense are here to save the day. They do have this little bitty small locking lever QD mount. This is a very nice mount. Again, you can see it right here. We've got those in stock. They're about $95. They are at outdoorlegacygear.com. You can just search for Wraith Mini mount because it works also for the Wraith Mini digital night vision optics, but it works for this unit as well. So if you're looking for a QD mount, we've got them. Wraith Mini mount. There it is from American Defense, 95 bucks. Love them. All right, real quick, I'm going to show something else, and then we're going to get into more of the details of the review. But if you want to mount this on a bolt action rifle, I don't care if you're using the stock mount or this little American Defense mount, this is probably not going to work because it's going to sit way up here, and you got a fixed stock rifle, and you're going to be too far away from it. So this mount right here is from Sightmark. It's called the Sightmark Wraith bolt action mount. It's about 60 bucks, and it will work with this unit. Basically, you'll take off the stock mount, and you will mount it back here. And as you can, I'm kind of hold this up so you can see, it's got multiple holes in it. So you can move it where you want it to get it further back for the proper eye relief. This is not quick detach. These right here, it's got set screws. This will slide over a Picatinny rail, a Weaver rail, or if you've got, two different, separate connectors there on your bolt action rifle, as long as they're Weaver or Picatinny, it will slide over it, and you could mount it on a bolt action. I will say that, again, while it can be done and guys are going to do it, I do think that ideally this is going to do way better on something with a collapsible stock. I mean, this is a workaround. Guys do it, but preferably I would go to an AR style rifle or something again with a collapsible stock. I don't want to drag this out. I'm going to show this real quick. I was debating whether to even hold it up or not because we're running out of time. This is a Sightmark quick detach Picatinny rail adapter external battery pack. You can see it's very small. It's very lightweight. We sell these. They are $100, $99, and we've had these for a good while. This is something that will work not just with Sightmark. It works with any scope that will use a USB external battery pack. It's got a little power button here. You can see it's got some little LEDs that light up. On the back of this, it does have a Picatinny rail adapter, so you can lock this in. You kind of got to peel it off when you want to get it off. This is spring loaded. There's not a lever or anything, but this is really nice if you're looking for an external battery pack that, again, small, lightweight, you want to run on the side of your AR or underneath or wherever you want it. For external power, you can use this. Again, it works with any thermal or night vision optic, but a lot of guys I know are going to be asking because CR123As, especially in cold weather, they're more expensive, and a lot of guys, want external power. You can use this. It also comes with, and I don't know where it is now, but it also comes with that same little magnetic, USB cable, which again, you'll already have one with this. So you can plug that right into the side. $100 if you want one of those. We do have them on the website. We've been selling them for a long time and really like those. Hans,
yeah,
that's a bunch of talking. That's a bunch of walking around. Let's start talking about the scope and kind of what we think about it.
So I would say, we're going to get into who it's going to be good for, and we're going to wrap all this up in a nice bow. This brand new thermal scope from a very trusted and successful night vision dealer. This was done, I don't want to say with complete secrecy, but it was. I mean, there's not that many people knew about this. Thankfully, like Jason said, we were kind of they brought us in the beginning to do some testing and to get a chance to look at it when they were thinking about doing it. But they went specifically for this entry level budget market, and I think rightfully and very smart of them to do so. This is obviously a big part of the market. A lot of sales are happening in that the low budget market. But I want to talk about what makes this a good buy, and we can do that. Let's talk about, Jason, what we always do and run through the dislikes first real quick, and I'll start. And then we can go to the likes and we'll talk about who it's good for. But
sure.
I would say with testing, and like you said, we've had this thing for a long time, and we've tested, we've had it on the field, we've been using them, hunting with them, getting tons of video. I would say one of the first things right off the bat is the mount that it comes with is not a bad mount, but it's a basic mount. If the good thing about having such a small optic like this is the convenience of being able to pop it on and off and use it as a binocular if you want to, or switch it around to different rifles. You're going to want a quick release mount. The American Defense quick release mount is going to be the best. But you're going to want to switch over to something other than this basic mount. Now, if you're just going to put it on one rifle and leave it there and hardly ever take it off, then it's fine. It works fine and it holds zero. But being able to switch it from back and forth and take it off is really a big advantage. I'm going to say one of the biggest negatives, Jason, that you and I both noticed, the video quality that you see, that you just saw, and what you see on the recordings of the video is not as good as the actual video that you see through the scope. Now, typically that is true with all thermal scopes, but this one seems to be a little bit not as good,
Yeah, and I would say the way you can improve that is that if you'll even look at the Sightmark logo that's in the lower part of the screen, even it's a little grainy. It's a little, I don't know what the word is there. So, again, it's just not as clear and sharp as it is. When you're looking at it through here, it looks really nice. When you look at those videos, it does look kind of grainy. I think Hans is dead on. That's something that, we're just not seeing the video output that is quite as good as through the scope.
I remember calling you and I'm like, man, I got some great video of a coyote at 125 yards. It's going to look great. It's going to look great. And I remember pulling it off the scope and looking at it. And I'm like, oh man, that is not a good representation of what I saw through the scope. So again, that's very normal with a lot of thermal. I mean, that's the way it's always going to be with thermal scopes, but this one seems to be a little bit worse as far as the video quality versus the actual picture through the unit quality.
Okay, so I'm going to jump, and I don't have hardly anything else here to say, but I do have a couple things. All right, so as I mentioned, this is how it comes. This is the rear eyepiece with this flip-up lens cap, and I'm going to tell you something. This is my fault. This is nobody else's fault. But when I'm done with a scope, this is the way that I am. What's the first thing you do? You close the lens caps, okay? And I do this every single time. And then what do? I go, oh, it's still on. I got to turn it off. But to know that it's off, I got to open this back up. And it just annoys me. It just literally annoys me. It's not, it's just, don't close the lens cap, Jason, but or the eyepiece cap. But that's just, there's a lens cap, it's open, I close it. So I find myself doing that all the time. So, and this is fine. If you're in a dusty environment, whatever, or if you don't want a rubber eye cup, this is the way to use it. All right. It's the way it comes. I really like this rubber eye cup. Some people are going to, when I'm about to say this, they're going to go, oh my goodness. I actually think it looks I think it looks better with the eye cap. It looks more like a thermal optic. I like it. I like the feel of getting this in here and getting the other light out of the way. But this is a negative. I'm going to tell you this. If you use this eye cup, you will lose this eye cup. Unless you come in here and you put like a piece of black electrical tape here, or maybe you run a zip tie, thin black zip tie really tight around there, because it is too easy to come off and too easy to come on. Look, all these eye cups, I don't care what brand of scope, people are always like, hey, I lost my eye cup. Can y'all get me an eye cup? We can't. You normally got to go to the manufacturer to get those. And they're normally affordable and, no big deal. But I can just tell you, a lot of times I found myself grabbing this, and it's because this eye cup is pretty long. I would find myself grab it up here, and then this thing would just come off. So if you get out in the field, I'm just warning you, if you want to run the eye cup, you need to zip tie it or just put a thin piece of electrical tape to kind of help hold it on there. Being minor detail, what we always say, though, we're here to nitpick these scopes and figure out what we like and don't like.
So I'm torn on the eye cup because I do like the rubber eye cup, but I do like the fact that the hard plastic cover, protects it and keeps the dust out. So I'm torn. I like both, but you're right about the rubber eye cup falling off. As far as the other, there's not really any other negatives, but some things that, I put on here. It's mostly going to be ideal for people shooting AR style rifles. I don't think that's a negative. I just think that's a piece of information. But other than that, we really couldn't find any negatives. We did testing up against other optics in the similar price ranges, and it really, let's get to the likes.
Okay. So I'm going to start my likes with some things that are going to be negatives to some people, and they're going to be jump up on the roof, wave the flag of victory positives to other people. Okay. So these are the, I don't know what the difference, like and dislike. Maybe it's in the middle. Okay. Number one, it does not have Wi-Fi. So there's no streaming to a smartphone app. Some guys right now go, oh, forget it. I'm not interested. There is a huge amount of guys right now that go, yes, one less thing to worry about. There are so many guys that call us that say, I want a thermal scope, but I want one simple. I don't want all those bells and whistles. I don't want all that stuff in there. I just want to go shoot stuff. I'm no YouTube star. I ain't getting on Facebook. We hear that a lot. So number one, again, and I always tell those guys, well, you don't use Wi-Fi if you don't want it, but here you go. It's not in the scope. So again, take it or leave it. Some guys it's a negative, some guys it's a positive. The other thing, I don't think this is a negative to anybody, to be honest, but I think it's going to be a positive to a lot of guys. As I showed you, there's an SD card required to record video. I think the positive of that is it's very easy. You don't have to plug your scope into your computer. You pull that little SD card out. You got the little normal size SD card adapter, and you stick that into your laptop or your desktop, and you pull the videos off. Super simple. Everybody's already doing that with, trail cameras and that sort of thing anyway. So that's super easy. I like that. But for the same guy who says, I don't want video recording, I don't even want it in there, guess what? If you press the record button and there's no SD card in there, it does nothing. Yeah. Nothing happens. It doesn't give you a warning. It doesn't tell you, put a big X on the screen. It does nothing. It just doesn't record. So again, those are, the SD card, I don't think that's a negative to anybody.
No,
I think it's a positive to the guys that don't want it. Same thing with the Wi-Fi. There is one more thing this unit doesn't have, I would say, I guess is a dislike. It does not have picture-in-picture. So that's something I know people are going to ask. There is no picture-in-picture mode in here.
Right.
On to some more of my likes. So SD card Wi-Fi. I think this unit is extremely easy to use. We're going to get into, I think, Hans and I are both kind of trying to jump the gun on who it's good for. We'll talk about that. But easy to use while still having tons of features in it. The Wraith menu system is very easy on these Wraith minis, the Wraith HDs. Again, if you already own a Sightmark Wraith digital night vision optic in a mini or in an HD, it is the same basic menu that you're used to. Very simple. The 4K Max has got a different menu, a little more complicated. This very, very easy to get into. And then the last thing, Hans, you probably got a couple more things, but I want to mention is it's got several color palettes, and black hot, white hot. That's what we're going to use 99% of the time. One of those two. Most people are black hot or white hot guys. And you got all these weird rainbow and all these weird effects that, I don't know, looks kind of cool on YouTube, but you're not really going to use it. But this unit has something that I cannot think of any other thermal on the market today that has this, and it's got a green color palette. It's just like the old, what was it? The old Pulsar Core RXQs. They had this green Yeah, green.
Yeah.
This has got a green color palette. And while it's not my favorite, I actually really like it. I mean, I'm still a white hot guy, but I found myself using this green color palette. It's soft, it's easy on the eyes. It's just different, but it's still very usable. When you get to these others like red hot and rainbow and all this, sometimes it's just too busy and there's too much going on. This is just a different tint, and I actually like it. It's actually grown on me the more that I've used it. So I think that's something. There's going to be some guys, especially guys that may be a little more sensitive to that brightness of the white or the black. They may go with the green because it's a little easier on the eye. So just something to play with.
Absolutely.
Hans, what else you got?
Yeah, I'm probably going to be a little bit redundant, but I'll go over it quick. Absolutely, 100%. One of the easiest scopes to operate on the market with a thermal. You guys out there, there's a lot of you. They just want a basic scope, turn it on and shoot. This is it. I think that the video and audio situation to a mini SD card is, like you said, some people are going to see it as a negative. Some people will see it as a positive. I think it's 100% a positive thing, because it is, there's a lot of people out there that do not even care about video recording, and it's hard to find an optic that doesn't have some type of video recording. This one, you don't put an SD card in it, you don't have a scope that records video. Yeah, so that is it. You don't have to worry about it. No Wi-Fi. I mean, yeah, there's going to be some people that see that as a negative, because they like to share the screen with their kids or whatever. But also you eliminate some complications or some confusion when you don't have that in there, for people that just want a basic scope that don't want to have to worry about all these different functions that it does. Basic battery setup and system. There's a lot of folks out there in the preparedness realm, in home protection, that want something that they don't want rechargeable batteries. They don't want proprietary batteries. They want batteries that are easy to find. And, CR123 batteries are definitely that. So being able to just have that, change them in and out whenever you need to is going to be ideal for a lot of people. I do like the focus adjustment assist, this little knob up here on top. I'm not going to call that what I called last week, when it had something similar. I got a lot of people.
I'm just going to stay quiet. Just keep going.
I do like the two hard plastic lens covers. I think it has generous magnification and when I say generous magnification, I mean the fact that it starts at 2 power and goes to 16 power with the 8 times digital zoom. I think that's very generous for a scope in this price range, in the $2,000 price range. I have to move my head so I can see my nose. Great picture image, and it does come with a 3-year warranty. So I think that's great. You go buy, Jason, you and I, we go to Lowe's or Home Depot all the time, and you go buy an appliance or something, and it comes with a 1-year warranty. And they're like, well, if you want to buy an external warranty, extended warranty, it's going to cost so much more. And this 3-year warranty, it's not the longest in the market, but it is good, and it's good for what Sightmark provides. It's the same across the board with all the other optics, and I mean, it's the standard. Yeah.
So I got a couple more quick things, and then we're going to go into the kind of who this is good for, and I'll transition into that. I do like that little throw lever that's on there. I think that's kind of just a tiny little cool bonus. I think that the size, again, very small, very compact. Hans already alluded to this earlier. If you want something that you can pop off, hold in your hand, you take deer hunting, walk in and out of the stand, checking cows, all those things, this is a great, great unit for that. I mean, it is essentially no bigger than a full-size thermal handheld. So I really like the dual purpose of that. Again, you are going to want to get that American Defense quick detach mount to do that. And then I think the last thing I would say is the magnification. I do like that it's a higher magnification than some of the other optics that are in this price range. I will tell you that putting it next to a couple other optics, this unit is supposed to be a 2X. I felt like it was a little less than a 2 power, but maybe an in between. So it's close to that, but I do like it is a little more magnification than you're going to get with some of the other optics in the same price range. So moving into who's it good for? All right, guys, I'm going to make this simple. Number one, I think we can make this very broad. And I can say, man, this is good for anybody that's looking for a $2,000 scope. You already heard all the specs. You heard us run through it. So you kind of know if this, has the features and the functions and the things that you want. I think that I'm going to let Hans kind of talk about, hog and coyote hunters, that sort of thing. But I think who this is really, really, really fantastic for is two sets of people, and sometimes it's kind of the same people. But number one, if you already own a Sightmark Wraith and you like it and you want to get into the thermal world, if you want to get into that and you've been in the digital night vision world and you've got the crack cocaine of night hunting, which is digital night vision optics, that's how you get into it. For $500, $600, $700, $800, you go out there, you start having fun, and you go, oh my gosh, I'm addicted. Now I want thermal. I think that's a logical step. You're already familiar with the Sightmark brand. You're already familiar with the menu system. It's the same menu system. And there's a few little added things in there, but it's the same, guys. It's super easy. I think this is that comfortable step for a guy to move into thermal. It's also the right price range. It's as cheap as you're going to get quality 384 resolution thermal. Also, maybe you're a guy that doesn't even have digital night vision, but you're thinking you want to get into thermal, but you fit that bill that Hans and I have already been alluding to of, I want small, I want lightweight, and I want simple. I don't want all this crazy stuff in it. But at the same time, I don't want to build this as a scope with no features. It has video and audio recording. That's something that a lot of other optics in this price range don't have. But again, if you don't want that, don't put the SD card in it. You don't have it, and it's just like it doesn't exist. You don't have to worry about Wi-Fi. You don't have to worry about super complicated menus, and it's not. Again, a whole bunch of buttons. You don't have it. This is so easy. I think if you're a guy that's worried about wearing gloves, or let's talk about this too, ambidextrous, left-handed, there's no problem here. Even with gloves, you're going to find this raised middle button. And once you find that, it's, again, I always go back to, it's a TV remote control. We're all familiar with that. Up, down, left, right. Very, very easy to use if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for the very best possible image quality you can get in the most advanced thermal optic, add about $5,000 to this thing and we'll get you one, but that's not what this is supposed to be. Right. It is supposed to be a great optic for guys that, again, aren't looking to spend $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000.
Yeah. So from a hunting perspective, I would say who this would be good for. It is a 2 to 16 power, but it's got a very, very wide field of view. If you're hunting in the woods, in an area where there's tight cover, you're trying to see through brushes or brush or trees or whatever, I think it's going to be really good. This is going to be for somebody who their vast majority of their shooting is going to be under 100 yards, I would say. I think if you're that doesn't mean you can't make a 150 or 200 yard shot with it. You absolutely can. But this is not something that you would want to go out and, if you're a predator hunter in, North Dakota, this is not the right magnification level for that. You would need to look somewhere else. But if you're
going to spend more money. Let me say that. You're going to spend 25% more minimum.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I would say, vast majority of your shooting under 100 yards, whether that's hog, coyote, coon, varmint, whatever it may be, absolutely can handle that. The 2 to 16 power, like Jason said, seemed a little bit lower than 2, maybe compared to some others, but this is going to be really, really good for anybody in that 100 yard and under, majority shooting.
Yeah, and I want to say something here, because this is one of those things where I think that people hear this from Hans and I, and they get confused, because I know we talked to him on the phone. What we're trying to do is we're trying to explain what it's really good for, where its super strong point is. I have guys all the time that go, well, y'all said if I was going to shoot over 100 or 125 yards, don't buy it. No, we did not say that. We're saying you can shoot 225 yards with this. But if you're always, I mean, Hans used that, we always pick on our North Dakota buddies because they're up there and, you know, can see forever
like
in a lot of that state. Yeah, exactly. And down here in East Texas where we're at, you know, if we can see 600-700 yards, it's a long ways because of all the trees. But with that said, it's not that you can't shoot 150 or 200 yards. If you have some of those shots, absolutely still buy this. But if all of your shots are out there at 150 and 200 yards, no, you need to, unfortunately, you're going to have to up your budget. You're going to have to get into that $2,500 to $3,000 price range to effectively and you know, really do good, enjoy shooting 150, 200 yards. Is it possible? Yes. It's just not something you want to do on every shot.
The yardage question trips people up quite a bit because when people call in, the first thing we want to know is how far is your average shot? Well, a lot of times, Jason, when I ask people, hey, how far is your average shot? The answer that I get back is, well, you know, I shoot coyotes out to about 300 yards. And so, yes, but how far is your average? You know, if your average shot, are you shooting 2 coyotes out of 10 out to 300, or are you shooting, 75% at 150 and under? So yeah, the average distance under 100 yards for this optic, absolutely, you can shoot further than that, no problem, to a certain point, but average shooting, that's what's going to be most comfortable, because we've said it before, we'll say it again. You want to buy an optic that you rarely ever have to increase the magnification to take a good effective shot, because you're losing resolution and picture quality. You want to find something that you can just take good clear shots right on that base magnification. And for that, doing that, if you're trying to take a 200-yard shot, you're not going to want to do it on the 2-power base of this scope, like any other 2-power scope. It wouldn't be any different, but 150, 100 yards and under, you can shoot on 2-power on this scope, no problem at all.
Okay, so I'm going to put a wrap on it. I'm going to just repeat what we've said over and over. Number one, super excited to see Sightmark in this game. Number one reason is because we know them, we trust them. I've been, this is my 10th year doing this full time, and Sightmark was one of the first companies that I ever dealt with. I mean, the Sightmark original photon, and not the RT, not the XT, the original photon before all of that is what got me into this. So I have been working side by side, hand in hand with the Sightmark guys again for that long. Know them, trust them. They're here in Texas. They're good guys, good company. We really, really like them. So that's number one. It's a good place to start. Number two, here's the thing. We already know the Wraith 4K mini digital night vision optics. This is in the exact same housing. We didn't say that. We've been kind of assuming people know that. It's in the exact same housing. So what you don't have to worry about is, hey, I wonder if they've got all the kinks worked out with their, battery cover lid. Well, yeah, because that, that this unit has been on here. The only thing new is they've replaced the guts. So that is something that again, it's again, I know it's a new thermal for them, but I mean, I'm saying the unit overall is a known unit. We like that. The price point is great. I think the 2-power base mag is a really good place to start for kind of an all-around type optic in this price range. Fantastic for coyote hunters. Fantastic. Coyote hunters. I'm going to say hog hunters. Hog hunters. Fantastic for guys that are looking for home protection, wide field of view, farm protection. Maybe you're trying to keep the coyotes or the fox getting out of the chicken coop or the hog pen or whatever. Great for that. Good for the guy that wants something small enough, lightweight enough, he can take it off, use it in his hand as a monocular, whether that's checking cows, deer hunting, walking around, what's the dog barking at, all that kind of stuff. Hans mentioned coyote hunters, yes, predator hunters to an extent, as long as you kind of know what that top end is and you're not always shooting 200 yards, definitely works for that as well. Again, the fully removable batteries. We like that. There's no internal battery. If you're worried about long-term, what's going to go wrong with it, that's not something you've got to worry about as an internal battery that's going to die or break on you. Image quality. This unit absolutely for $19.99 delivers the image quality that is comparable to everything else out there on the market. So that's what we like to see. It absolutely holds its own and has definitely some, as we've mentioned here, some positive things that I think kind of sets it apart from some of the competition.
Yep.
Again, I think if you're going to take it off and on your rifle, you're going to want to get that American Defense Wraith quick detach mount. If you're going to try to mount this on a bolt action rifle, you absolutely, and I say bolt action, anything with a fixed stock, you're absolutely going to want to get one of these long mounts. Again, they are not quick detach. If you take this off, you will have to re-zero, but this is the Wraith. It's called the Wraith Mini. No, it's actually just called the Wraith bolt action mount. Okay. The American Defense mount is called the Wraith Mini mount from American Defense. Okay. There's another American Defense mount that's not for the Mini, that you got to get the Wraith Mini or you'll have the wrong one. That is my wrap in a nutshell. Got them in stock. We would absolutely love to have your business. Again, Hans, Ashley, myself, we've all been extensively using these for a long time. And, you know, you may have questions. You may go, I think I want thermal, but I don't even know. What does it do? And, you know, maybe you say, well, what happens if I spend $3,000? This has been really cool and this sounds awesome, but what happens if I spend $2,500 or $3,000 or $35,000? Do I get more for that? What can I do with that? We're glad to explain all that. We use in the field every single thermal optic that we sell, night vision as well. We use them. So we're very willing and able to explain them all to you. And, you know, in return, all we ask is that when you're ready to buy that scope, you buy it from us, because we would absolutely love to have your business and we would love to show you the customer service that we offer.
So congratulations to Sightmark breaking into the thermal market with the Sightmark Wraith. 2-16 35 millimeter. Again, like Jason said, if you want to find it, outdoorlegacygear.com. You can call us 877-350-1818. Thank you. This has been a busy week. 2 shows this week. I don't know if that's a good thing for y'all or a bad thing.
That's right.
But you got 2 of them, whether you like it or not. We've got more reviews, more scopes coming in. All the stuff from SHOT Show is just starting to pour in. We're testing it all. We're trying to get as much done as we can. You can find all of our past episodes on theLateNightVisionShow.com, on our YouTube channel, The Late Night Vision Show, and on the socials at the same name. You can find Jason over on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube at Outdoor Legacy. You can find Ashley Rowe on Facebook and on Instagram, Rowe ETX, that's ROWEETX, and on YouTube. And you can find me on Instagram and on Facebook and on YouTube, Hans ETX, that's HANSETX. I don't think I left anything out, but if I did, we'll catch it next week.
All right, guys, we appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed this. We'll be back here next week with probably some more reviews. We've got several reviews pending on some stuff. I think Hans has forgot about some stuff that we've got to review. So we got a lot going this summer. But our spring and summer, we're excited about it. We will have other topic shows and things we're going to be discussing. So y'all stick around. Between now and then, y'all stay safe in the fields and keep making those bacon pancakes.